Here we have a Ryobi mower with some sort of carburation problem. Possibly the choke stuck on, something like that. The only way to get in there and have a look is to take it apart, which we're going to do now. We'll just pop this off.
So this is pretty much the same for all mowers?
Very much the same. I think this one has an automatic choke, which is not working properly, I don't think. I think that's why it's spluttering, because otherwise it seems to be running alright. So we'll just take this off and make a note of where everything goes, so we don't lose anything or get anything the wrong way around.
So the mower seemed a bit too rich.
It did.
You can definitely smell it.
Yeah. Breather pipes off as well. Let's have a look here. Because they're all a little bit different. I've got to go and get a screwdriver.
So what screw are you touching there?
I'm taking off the fuel pipe. It's got a Jubilee clip.
Just mind your hand and just show you. That's it.
You can shut the fuel off, I think. If you can't shut the fuel off, you can always stick a screwdriver in the pipe to stop it leaking. Saves draining the fuel. Saying a little bit thicker. Well, actually, we could do the pipe. Might have to water the height to get it off. Bit fiddly, but got it off now.
So is there anything you can tell from looking at it?
This model doesn't look like it's got an auto choke or anything. So maybe it's got some dirt in there. I'll just have to go and clean it out. We'll get the compressor charged. Hopefully we can stop this leaking now. We'll get some compressed air, we'll take it apart and have a clean. Want a video? Just get all the dirt off the compressed air. Blow all the bits of debris off so we can take the carburetor apart and have a look, see if you can see any dirt in there. What I'm going to do is unscrew this, take the float chamber off, have a look inside. This is where the fuel sits. If you leave fuel in there forever, it can get pretty dirty, and that dirt gets into your carburetor, and then it won't work properly. Take the float chamber right off, release that pin, move that up. That's the actual part there that stops the fuel when the float chamber fills up. It pushes that valve and shuts the fuel off so it doesn't flood. It looks a bit dirty, so you have to be careful you don't lose any of those parts. Let's have a look in here. Take the airline and blow any dirt out. What we're going to do now is we're going to try and take the main jet out. I need a smaller screwdriver.
Yep.
Get the right size screwdriver in there and undo the main valve. The main jet can be a bit tricky to get out sometimes. There it is. And then you've got that bit as well. All those little holes in there need to be cleaned out. Make sure it's all clean. Put the jet back in.
The other thing is, this lawnmower has been sitting around for a little while.
It's been sitting for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it can be a bit troublesome when that happens. What we're going to do now, just have a look at the float valve. Yeah, that looks okay. So I'm going to assemble this back together. That has to slide in there like that. And then the pin needs to go through that bit of metal, through the plastic. You can see that. Right the way through and sits there. So this moves up and down. Now we need to make sure this is completely clean. Right, we're inside now and we're just going to give this some maintenance spray and a clean with a brush. So hopefully we can clean it out a bit better. Fairly stiff brush in there and just give it a good clean. Just try and get all that flakiness off of it. So that's getting sucked straight into your carburetor. It's doing it no favours at all. Finish off with another spray. Now we'll go and put it back together. Well, hopefully we should have. That should be clean enough now. It's fairly clean in there. And we'll put this back together. Just put the chamber back on. Goes that way around. Put the bolt back in. Tighten that up. When you go upside down, it should shut it off. It does. That's not that you'll turn your mower off to shut it upside down, but that's how they work. They fill up and it shuts the valve off, so it just runs on the fuel so it doesn't flood. Everything else looks alright. Well, we'll put it back together. Okay. We have to hook that spring in into that hole. Like that. That goes on like that. We will have to get our fuel pipe back on now. Right. Put our washer back, our gasket back on, and our cover. Ideally, you want to reconnect that as well. Which looks a bit. I'm going to cut that off because it looks a bit red. We've got enough pipe, we'll just cut it back a bit because it looks a bit perished, like at the end, and it keeps falling off. So if we clean it up, it should fit back on. It just slides in there like that. It's only the breather pipe from the engine. It goes on like that. Okay. I'm going to take it out now.